It's been 2 months now since the Prime Minister caved into public pressure and visited Alice Springs to hear about the crime crisis firsthand. His visit then, of course, as you know, lasted just a few hours, and since then, little has changed, except some alcohol restrictions came into force and they triggered a short-term lull in some offences. Locals are tearing their hair out this week as crime escalates again. Cars have been torched, 2 houses have been burned down, businesses ransacked, and there's been a ram raid, all in the space of just a few days. Here's the Mayor.
There were some changes that did make a small difference, but it's back to what we're calling normal down here, and Darwin are catching up. So it's pretty frustrating, and I've used the word scary. It's scary to live here at times.
Matt Anderson there, we've spoken to him a few times. Darren Clark is the local business owner who's become the voice of frustrated residents through his Action for Alice Facebook page. He agrees that the Alice is a scary place.
Yeah, I totally agree. Chris, I spoke to the Mayor actually a couple of days ago and just reiterated what's going on in town. He keeps abreast of it very well. Yeah, it's not good, mate. It hasn't eased off at all. It's on an upward trend again. We had a huge weekend last weekend. Cars being burnt out around town in the CBD. We've had stolen cars again. Government buildings broken into. Stolen cars coming through the CBD on early Sunday morning, ramming into a shopping centre. We've had then stolen car Tuesday morning going through the CBD at 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it's totally out of control again. DV levels are at the same level again. It just doesn't stop, mate.
It's shocking. Now, there was a lot of focus on this earlier in the year, and that pushed the Prime Minister to pop up a couple of months ago. In the wake of that, there are additional alcohol bans put in place, and that apparently led to a bit of a lull, a bit of a drop in crime. But has that all dissipated? Has that all come back now? Do those alcohol bans not help?
Well, most of the problem drinkers we had, Chris, left town because they took the alcohol away, so they went in search of alcohol in different places, South Australia, Queensland, Darwin, Katherine. So the problem just got shifted. So people are coming back now, and substance abusers are substance abusers, mate, and they are looking for other things as well. There's hand sanitizer. There's a secondary supply of alcohol hasn't abated. So alcohol gets into the Northern Territory, don't worry about that. And then the problem also we have is the drug problem. So I was talking to someone today in the drug and alcohol services, and there's a big uptake trend in ice here in town. So we've now shifted the problem now to other substances, Chris, and that is a scary thing for Alice Springs. It's a very scary thing. You know,
so what's required? What's required? Do you need a really strong police presence on the streets permanently? And what does that do in the end if people are not incarcerated or rehabilitated?
Well, that's the thing. They keep treating the supply issue, Chris, and they're not doing the demand issue. We're not going to the underlying problems why people have these chronic substance abuse addictions. It's just... And no one touches it, mate. They don't want to go near it. We'll close a bottle shop for a couple of days a week. We'll restrict hours. It doesn't work. And now the NT government have come out this morning and saying they're going to buy out alcohol licences from like IGA stores. Like, this is not going to change anything, Chris. It will not change anything. They're just token announcements, and it's not going to work. We had buybacks of alcohol licences in Alice Springs around 12, 14 years ago. Look where we are now, mate. Look where we are now. So it's just history repeating, and it's not going to work. And we just down here in Alice Springs, we are trying so hard to stay afloat. There's businesses here, but they don't get customers overnight. They're paying leases. They're trying to hang on to their employees. We've got a tourism industry here on its knees. The forward bookings for next year, actually, they're non-existent. Now, we warned this government for 3 years, over 3 years, this is what would happen. And here we are.
Well, you got the national government's attention, Darren, with the Prime Minister going up there just for a few hours, and he met with people in a meeting room. Do you think that Anthony Albanese and his ministers need to get to Alice Springs, spend a bit of time there, probably over a weekend?
Anthony Albanese needs to come up here on a weekend unannounced, because they'll clear the streets, all the services will come out, there'll be a huge police presence, there'll be no one on the streets. He has to come unannounced, come on a weekend. I'll take him out, or someone can take him out. Don't go out with a government agency. Don't go out with a security company or anything like that. Come out with the real people. I'll take him to the real victims of crime. I'll take him out and talk to little kids on the street, and he can actually hear from them why they're out on the streets. Because it's not safe in their houses. They haven't got a home to go to because it's not safe. They're getting abused. Their mothers are getting abused. The men here in this town have got chronic alcohol problems, and so are the women. But no one is treating these problems, mate. No one is going to the core of the issue. We keep putting Band-Aids on it and throwing money at it. Anthony Albanese has to come up here and see for himself what exactly is going on in the Northern Territory, because we've got some very serious problems here, Chris.
Darren, thanks so much for talking to us again. This is a long way from resolved, obviously.
It is, mate. Good on you. Thanks, Chris.